Howdy, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Leslie Hudson with ongoing coverage with our severe weather outbreak in the Deep South. Our time now is 10:42 in the East Coast, 9:42 in Central time zones, where, of course, the bulk of this severe weather has happened, and it has been a deadly tornado outbreak. Unfortunately, we're going to get to all of that, but we want to show you some absolutely incredible drone video, and we're going to bring in our storm chaser, Aaron Jayjack. Aaron has been up since early this morning all across the Gulf Coast states and tracking these storms. And Aaron, I know you're in your hotel trying to take a breather from an incredibly long day. Tell me about this drone video that you got of this long-lived supercell.
Yeah, so this was a pair of supercells that were to the southwest of Birmingham, and I came through Birmingham and to a little to the west and dropped south to the town of Brent, Alabama, as it looked like the tornado had passed either in Brent or just to the south of Brent. And so I dropped south of Brent and got the drone up in the air, and on radar it was obvious that there was a big tornado on the ground. And when I got the drone up, sure enough, I could see it. It was very rain wrapped, though. All you see is the rain wrapping around the storm. And it passed about 200 yards or so. The edge of the tornado passed about 200 yards or so just to my south of where I shot this drone footage. And you can see there's a house on the left of the road there. And that house actually sustained some damage. And then there was some additional houses to the left in the field there. You can't see them in the drone shot, but there was significant damage of those houses. Trees snapped in half, debarked trees, and fortunately, you see some houses on the right side in the drone footage, and those houses were fine. So,
wow. You know, when you and I were talking about this, and we use an app called Slack. Some people may know what that is. You know, it's a way to talk within the company very quickly, kind of like direct messaging or texting. But in Slack today, you said you had to abandon this location because it got so dangerous. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so a lot of times the tornadoes they can make a turn to the north, to the left, and that's what this tornado did. It made a sharp turn right towards me. It looked like it was going to cross the road, and I was going to have to fly the drone to it, and then it just started coming right at me. So I tried to bring the drone down. I told it to return to home, and in fact, I couldn't even wait for the drone to land. For me to be able to pick it up and get it out of there. I just jumped in the car and I had to tuck tail and head north to get out of the path of the tornado. And it ended up crossing just about 200 yards or so from where I filmed with the drone. And I likely would have been okay. I went back to the location to recover the drone, and I would have been okay there. But it was just 200 yards from there. That's where there started the significant damage, trees snapped. So it would have been a close call, but it was definitely the right call to abandon the drone and get to the north.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, yes. I mean, you haven't heard this story, and it's just unbelievable, Aaron. So when you're in that kind of situation, what do? You hear that when you're tracking these things and you're a storm chaser, they're so large, it's often hard to tell that direction like it is with a freight train. So how did you know that you had to get out of there?
Well, it's actually, as I got closer to the tornado, it's easier for me to know, where the tornado's going, because I can see the storm structure. So I could tell at my location, I tucked myself right into that inflow notch, just to the north of the storm. I was going to let the tornado pass to my south, and I would be just, to its northwest, just behind the tornado. And but it did make that turn to the north, and actually having the drone up, I could see it with the drone. I could see it starting to approach me and get closer on with the drone, and then I actually heard it. And once I started hearing it, that's when I knew. I started bringing the drone down, and that's the roar of the tornado got louder. I decided that I couldn't stick around long enough to get the drone, and I'd have to get out of there. And it was the audio, it was the visuals from the drone, but then actually hearing it myself, like I hear that tornado, it was quite of an intense, crazy roar in that thing.
Were you ever worried? I know you've been chasing these for years, but I think this is the closest account that I have personally heard from you on this. I know you chased that big tornado in Canada last year that was also a deadly tornado. But what were your thoughts when you saw this big thing coming towards you?
Well, I was. It's a little intimidating chasing in the southeast states. There's lots of trees. There's not good visibility, and then when you hear it coming at you, yeah, it's a little nerve wracking. But like I said, I understand the storm structure, and I've actually, this looks just like a tornado I intercepted in 2019 in Kansas. I think it was Lawrence, Kansas. And I mean, they looked very identical, and I was in the exact same location and that inflow notch just to the northwest of the tornado, allowing it to pass by me. The difference was that the tornado in Kansas, it continued on an easterly trajectory. It didn't make that sharp turn to the north, and that was the difference. But I picked up on that north turn. In fact, there was I saw a car come racing out of the trees. That the drone footage, you see the grove of trees that's just in front of the tornado there. And a car just barely made it through there. And I saw them driving out of there. I saw the power flashes back behind them from power lines going down. So someone just barely escaped, missed it by, hundreds of feet.
Wow. Unbelievable. Well, you know what, Aaron? It has been a phenomenal day. As you know, this tornado we're still going to have to wait and get confirmation from the National Weather Service, but we think this tornado that you got on this drone video was on the ground for about 100 miles. There's still some debate whether it went up to the cloud and came back down, or whether this was a series of storms. But based on the meso discussion that I read, that the National Weather Service put out right when this tornado was moving through Brent, I think that this is going to verify that this was on the ground for about 100 miles. That debris ball was evident for, at least 90 miles of that tornado.
Wow.
So an incredible capture, Aaron. We're so fortunate that we have you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unfortunately, there's a big national forest. There's a forest there. I think it's a national forest. So, that had to have saved that. That there wasn't a lot of population there. So it was thankful that it went through that area. Although it did hit some houses, but a large part of that area was just forested area. So I'm glad that it was, but 100 miles, it had to have hit houses somewhere else, other than just Brent. So hopefully those people are okay.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned in Calhoun, in Ohatchee, it was a deadly tornado. And we've got some pictures and videos. We're going to show that. But I'm going to let Aaron go, you guys. He has had an incredibly long day. He sounds tired. And, we're so grateful that you are here for us to be our eyes and ears, Aaron, and a phenomenal job today. And I hope you get some good rest tonight.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, Aaron. Take care. All right. Again, that is my radar storm chaser, Aaron Jayjack. Just, incredible job for us the last week. He's been chasing tornadoes for us for over a year now professionally, but, capturing these two super events, the one on St. Patrick's Day and then the one today. Unfortunately, the one today, as I mentioned, has been a deadly tornado outbreak. And even though there's been fewer tornadoes, they have been more significant. So, Matt, I'm going to show that picture from Ohatchee, Alabama. It's a photo that we got off of Twitter. And this is the only photo that we have of this tornado. I know there has been some video that has been circulating, but you can see that very large tornado. The National Weather Service at the time put in their chat that they believe that this was minimally an EF3, but of course they will have to assess the debris field, the level of damage tomorrow with a new light and when they get down on the ground and can really assess things. But, certainly looking from this and the fact that there were at least 5 fatalities, unfortunately, we think this is going to be one of the stronger tornadoes of the day. And then take a look at this video that we have out of Pelham, Alabama. Now, this is from Mike Dubberly. He is with an Alabama TV station. And this is from a viewer that emailed him this video, Caesar Villasenor. And again, I apologize if I'm getting that wrong, but he and his buddy were headed to work and were driving through this community when this tornado came through. You can see the storm knocking down the trees easily. There, is debris everywhere. You can see the inflow of some of that debris going into the base of that tornado. They were right in the thick of it, you guys, and just incredible video to see. And it's just one of many. And then we take you now to Centreville, Alabama, where the damage has been very widespread. Multiple homes. I think the total there is anywhere from 30 to 50 that have either major or significant damage. And you can see that here from this video. Of course, this reminds me very reminiscent of hurricane damage. Those trees, almost horizontal there because the winds were so powerful, and obviously tornadoes can do that as well. So that we will see a lot more damage coming in as we get into tomorrow, but there's a fair amount of it out of it right now. And then we've also got some video in Simpsonville, Alabama, where there was hail. Now this is very large marble-sized hail from late this afternoon, again from one of these multiple supercells that we were tracking. The good news in all of this is we've seen a bit of the activity wane a bit. So it has been a very long day, but I do want to let you know that there are still 2 tornado warnings that are ongoing in central Alabama. Central Alabama, by far and away, has bore the brunt of the worst weather. So let me get you updated on that. Let me show you the app, and I don't even know. Let me turn on screen mirroring for you there, Matt. Give it a second, and then we'll show that. Yep, there you go. Oh, hang on there. And so here are those two tornado warned storms. And according to the National Weather Service, this severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado, is located in Goldville, or about 12 miles northeast of Alexander City, moving east at 60 miles an hour. And then the other one, the emergency managers near Higgins Ferry Park in Chilton County, Alabama, are also reporting a tornado. Multiple structures damaged on State Road 481 and Cargyle Creek. Additional structures were damaged along County Road 483 and as well as County Road 720. Numerous trees are down as well. So on top of that, there is also flash flood warnings. You can see those right here in Coleman. That's an aerial flood watch, or I'm sorry, aerial flood warning. And that goes on for another 35 minutes or so. Here is another flash flood warning, but also embedded in this is our tornadoes. So we've got several weather hazards going on here in central Alabama yet again, but the National Weather Service does believe that some of this is starting to wane just a bit, but there's still plenty of weather out there, you guys. So I'm going to switch this over. All right, there we go. So, Matt, I can now hear you on Unity, but I wanted to go over to WSI because let's take a look at some of these storm structures, and we can get a better look and see what's going on over here. So, as we take a look, I'm going to zoom in, and Matt, you can go ahead and take that full. Let's take a look at this tornado warned storm that is north of Montgomery and just to the south and east of Birmingham, Alabama. So actually, let me turn off the time composite shear again because that gets a little confusing when you're trying to track this stuff. So there is a look at the storm itself, and this one's moving northeast at 60 miles an hour, and it's been right in this cluster, you guys, of this area that has just consistently been getting this training effect, if you will, of these severe thunderstorms and supercells, tornadic storms. So it's been a long day for these folks, a long night as well. I turned off the tornado warning real quick because I just wanted you to see that. And actually, I'm going to take it over to the velocity mode, and let's take a look and see what we got going on here. So it looks like, there's definitely some rotation. You can see that. Let me grab a little drawing pencil, and you can see the rotation right here, a nice couplet, pretty tight. So I do think that there's definitely a tornado. If it's not on the ground, it's radar indicated at this point, but this is, I believe, is the one that the emergency managers are saying that there has been some structural damage, and there's also been numerous downed trees. So this is the area as this system tracks towards the northeast at 60. I'm going to plot some cities for you, so I got to broaden this out because this thing is really booking quickly. So let's do a storm track on this northeast at 60 miles an hour. And that will put you in Wadley in about 9 minutes, Wadowie in about 20 minutes, Ephus, I believe is how you say that. I apologize if that's wrong, in 34 minutes, Bowdoin 41, and Carrollton in about 50 minutes. So that's moving over into Georgia. So Carrollton is in Georgia, and then Bowdoin I don't see it here on that map, so I'm not sure if that's in Georgia. I apologize. But I do know that Wedowee is in Alabama and Wadley is in Alabama. So this particular storm, this tornado-warned storm, is moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. And that was, or moving east, I'm sorry, not northeast, east. Let me retract that because I actually did that wrong. I thought it was moving northeast. So let's take this off. And I'm going to do an east track because I thought it was moving northeast. So here's the couplet right in here. And we'll go east now at about 60. Let's see what the cities that gives us. So Roanoke in 20 minutes, and that makes more sense, obviously, since that's going to be an east trajectory. In Texas in 31 minutes, Hillcrest 39 minutes, Hogansville 46, and in Newman in 56 Noonan, I apologize, in about 56 minutes. So again, moving east at 60. This is the one that I do believe is showing some evidence, so very strong evidence of a couplet. So some rotation at the base of this supercell, and it continues to move off towards the east. So as we take a look at some of the other areas in this region of the country, there are still tornado watches up and still tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings as well. In Tennessee and in Kentucky, we also have had we've also had some issues with these severe warned storms. And the National Weather Service in Birmingham is saying that there could be a tornado debris signature on that one I just showed you. So let me go back to that one real quick. And let's switch this over. Let me get over to where the couplet is. And then I'm going to switch this radar over to correlation coefficient. I'm sorry, it's been a long day. And let's see if we can see anything. So they're saying possible a TDS. Yes, TDS. So it looks like it would be in this area. Let me grab my drawing area. So the debris signature or the debris ball in this general area, this I will say is not as defined as that Brent tornado that Aaron got. That Brent tornado had a debris signature for at least 80 to 90 miles on the ground. It was unbelievable to see that supercell. As he said, there's a forest there. So I'm hoping that, when we the crews get out there tomorrow morning, that we're going to see that this was in, this forest, and the debris signature was trees and not homes. But of course, we'll have more assessments from the National Weather Service ongoing tomorrow. But this debris signature, again, not nearly as defined as that one in Brent. And again, that moved through Brent and then went up into the central part of the state, staying on the ground for an extended period of time. The National Weather Service thinks it could, as I mentioned at the top of this live stream, could have been on the ground for as long as 100 miles. There's still going to have to be some research to see whether it stayed on the ground the entire time or whether there was a couple of tornadoes that formed in that parent mesocyclone. So all those questions will be answered in the coming days. But again, another update from the National Weather Service in Melbourne that there is confirmed hail with this storm, and that's for 1 inch in diameter, so that's pretty big. Chambers, Clay, Randolph, Tallapoosa, and again, this confirmed tornado was located near Sparkling Springs, or 13 miles south of Lake Wedowee. So I showed you a storm track on that, moving east at 60. So debris signature right in that general area. The National Weather Service confirming that there is one. So it would be right in here as it heads off towards the east at 60 miles an hour. All right, let's go back to the big picture here, because again, there's some of these storms that we're still tracing up in Tennessee and Kentucky, as I mentioned. So it's not just Alabama, although as I mentioned, Alabama, I think by far and away will be, unfortunately, the worst state to get most of the intense tornadoes, but there is still weather to be had in the other regions of the country. So let me tell you real quick, the official total from the Storm Prediction Center is 17 tornadoes today, 45 wind reports, and 44 hail reports, for a total of 106 reports of severe weather. As I mentioned earlier, the 5 fatal fatalities were from the Ohatchee tornado, that picture we showed you, where there was substantial damage to property and homes in that area as well. And I'm just taking a quick look to see if there's any more updates from the Storm Prediction Center. Oh, so Columbiana was another one in Shelby County. We were watching when we did our live stream a couple hours ago, that there is significant damage there as well to homes, and as well as additional structures were damaged, in Chilton County. We talked about that one when we were going live as well. So I think tomorrow is going to bring in a whole fresh round of storm damage from these very powerful tornadoes. And you may have heard as well, I don't mind giving him a plug, James Spann, who is a legend in the meteorology field, his home itself was also damaged from the tornado. He had more tree damage and not so much structural damage, but that happened while he was live on the air broadcasting with this tornado outbreak in Alabama. So he's gone on social media to say that he is fine, his wife was fine, and to try and help the other folks that are homeless tonight and are hurting after this incredibly rough weather day. But it's not often that when you are the meteorologist on duty that you have to worry about your own home and your own family and try and keep that all together. But, he's an incredible force in the meteorology field, and just have the most respect for that guy. Anyway, all right. So here is a look at the storm reports. As I mentioned, about 104 all told. Almost every tornado has been in Alabama today, one in Mississippi. So again, it has been an incredibly long day for the folks in Alabama. And that one in Mississippi, by the way, was in Cooksville, and there was multiple videos of the tornado right at the Mississippi-Alabama state line. Okay, so let's go through a couple of our graphics, and it could keep you updated on this. Again, the Storm Prediction Center, as we've been mentioning, will change the polygon and will change the intensity of the tornado threat. So we're currently at an enhanced level, but again, enhanced level is still pretty significant, you guys, on a scale of 5. We're at a 3, and it's still focused in parts of Tennessee and into central and northern Alabama, and then into that northwestern part of Georgia. So not by any means are we saying putting your guard down in this area of the country, but on the radar, the presentation, we're seeing a couple of the structural of these storms become more linear, which would transfer more over to a wind event. But we're still seeing active tornado warnings in these states. So please don't think that I'm saying all clear, because I'm not. But in terms of that long-lived, intense, violent tornadoes, we're hoping that those are done with for the day, because we've certainly seen a lot of those today already. So here's a look at the Futurecast. This is the HRR high-resolution product, and I'll scrub this along, and you guys can take a look. And Matt, you can go ahead and take that full, because I'm going to scrub this back. So notice where it says Birmingham. And just north of there is, where those cells we're looking at. Now, the HRR does a pretty good job, I think, in picking up these storms. But then, there's a line of storms and a cluster of storms in central Tennessee and into Kentucky, and even the southern Midwestern states, the southern parts of Indiana, Ohio. Those states also have been getting some of these outer bands of this larger rotation, this larger storm system, as it pushes off towards the east. So by tomorrow, everything is out of here. The severe weather threat diminishes, but it's going to be several more hours before we're done with that. But hopefully, in the next few hours, the bulk of this is going to be over with. So here's a look at the power outage forecast. This is computer model. This is not set in stone. I can tell you that in Alabama, the last time I checked, Matt, if you want to pull up the power outage grid map from poweroutages.us. I think it stands around 38,000, if I'm not mistaken, that have had, or 36 in this particular map, but I think it was, it's between 36 and 38. So certainly they've had more power outages because they've had so many tornadoes on the ground there. But I do think that that's going to, of course, hopefully be a short-lived event once they get out tomorrow and can get those power lines restored. But some of those areas that, got an EF3 today, we don't know if there was, any EF4s. We don't know. Again, we will have to wait until tomorrow to get the official intensity of these storms from the National Weather Service when they look at the debris. But I think minimally, we're talking about that one in Brent was probably an EF3. And I think the one in Calhoun County that caused the 5 fatalities was probably going to wind up being an EF3 as well, according to initial reports from the National Weather Service. But again, we don't have an official word on that until sometime tomorrow, or maybe even the day after that. So here's another look at the live radar. And again, that tornado warning ongoing. Let me see what we've got from just since they've dropped the other warning. So just the one warning and actually I'm going to go up to Tennessee and Kentucky here in a second, but the one in Alabama They say is a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located near Wadley or 10 miles south of Lake Wedowee, moving east at 55. So let me zoom into this again. We'll do one more scan of these severe storms, and then we'll take the stream down. So there's the one, and I thought I took the composite off, but I want to take the wind shear off, the wind product off. And again, this is the one that's going to be moving into Georgia here in the not too distant future. So I'm going to do a storm track on this, and it's moving east at, what did I say? East at 55. So let's get that right. And again, looking at Roanoke in 20 minutes, Texas 32, LaGrange 42, Hogansville 49, and Noonan at 59 minutes is when we can expect to see this tornado warned storm, which again, National Weather Service says is an extremely dangerous tornado. So it's nighttime. These are not easy to see. It's really dangerous for storm chasers to be out there. Aaron calls it a night usually, when the sun goes down, because it is such a dangerous job to chase these things, especially when you can't see them. So I hope there are not too many storm chasers out there chasing this stuff, but I know they go out there because they can they can often capitalize on that, and that's sometimes what they do. But here, let's go back up to Kentucky, but I thought there was one in Tennessee. Let me look here. It's just now. Yep, it's just now leaving Tennessee. So this is the other area in Kentucky now, from Static up to Monticello and up into Somerset. Tornado warned storm here. There's actually two tornado warnings. One that's just over Static. It's kind of hard to see. Let me point that out to you. So the one warning right here, kind of in the polygon right about there. And then the second polygon is right here. And this, again, these are for northeaster trajectories. And we'll do a quick, I'll do a quick velocity volume scan and see if this guy will play ball with me. It has not been cooperating today. Okay, it looks like we got a little bit of something here. Okay, so let me grab this. So you can see that this is, I still think this is off. I think these storms are higher than 30,000 feet, but you can see that as I kind of slice it, and let me move this around a bit like that. And then let's take this and drag it around a little bit and see what we see. So you can see the red, again, that's showing velocity mode. That is showing the reflectivity as it moves away from the radar beam. What we should be seeing in there is some green, a couplet in green, which it's not showing, but I do think is there. I'm just not entirely sure why our volume scan is not acting correctly, but we're getting some decent data. So some of this is showing 30,000 feet in this particular cell. And let me delete that one, and then let's pull the radar back out and go up into Kentucky, because I wanted to see that one. I got to tilt this again. There we go. And then I think, further in Kentucky here. And let's do a volume scan of this one and see what we see. If we've got any more. I don't have a radar. So, I'm not going to get a good scan here because I don't have a good, I didn't switch. So in order to do volume scans, you have to have live radar data. And I don't have a volume scan up here. So my apologies. I don't have a current radar up in Kentucky. The closest I have is Tennessee, but you can kind of see it there. 30,000 feet is some of those cloud tops. I think they're shooting higher than that though, because these are tornado warned storms. And usually when you're talking about, not always, but usually when you're talking about a tornado warned storm, minimally you're talking about cloud tops 40, 50, 60,000 feet. So they're pretty high up there. So let me switch that back and we'll get rid of this guy. Right. Whoops. Like this. Okay. Why are you not disappearing? All right, well, I'm not sure. It doesn't want to I can't get it to erase. So we'll just go back over to velocities. There's that couplet again. That definitely is something to watch out. This is back in Alabama, by the way, near State Road 431, near Lake Wedowee and over Wadley. So I think this one definitely, according to the Weather Service, is dangerous, a very dangerous tornado right now. And then the ones up here in Tennessee, also, this is the Murfreesboro, Tennessee radar. Oh, you can see a little bit of a couplet right here. Okay, I just saw one here. Hang on. Let me grab my pointer. Right there is a couplet. And there is a tornado warned storm under there. There's also one, up here. those two that I'm also looking at. But I don't have again, my apologies, I don't have a radar up here in Kentucky, so I'm not getting really good data up there. But we'll show you this real quick, the big picture, and you can kind of see the trend as we head through the next couple of hours. So I'm going to be watching these storms, especially, again, Tennessee, Kentucky, a couple of these rogue storms that are firing late tonight. And then, of course, we're still not done with the tornado warned storms in Alabama. So before we get out of here, let me remind you of a couple of things, you guys, that we are going to be highlighting Severe Weather Week next week, this exact same scenario that we have been talking about all day today. So we will be highlighting 5 weather hazards. I kick things off on Monday with severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, and lightning. And Matt, say it to me one more time. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's okay. I'm gonna, we'll bypass that one for now. And so the Severe Weather Week is gonna be going for the next 5 days, starting on Monday. And during that time frame, we will be showcasing, as I mentioned, severe thunderstorms, tropical cyclones, winter hazards. We also have a really good piece from Aaron Jayjack that our production editor, Damian McFarland, just finished. Looks great. So we're really looking forward to bringing you that content. Make sure you look out for that. You can find it on all of our social media pages and in the app. And I will do one more update, you guys. I'm not going to do it live, but I'll record something for the overnight here that we will run across the social media pages. And then the fast forecast will be coming up. We put that out around 3 o'clock in the morning. So I don't even know what time it is right now. I think it's 11:15 almost Eastern. So not too much longer. We'll be putting that out. And so we'll have additional information, additional video to share with you then. So I think that's going to do it for now. I have no idea who's in who's watching this. It's late. I know there's a couple of people on YouTube and a couple of people watching us on Facebook. So thank you for sticking with us. If you have family in these areas, I'm hoping for the best for everybody. Hopefully, you did not sustain major damage. Our hearts are certainly in Alabama tonight for the folks that did not survive these tornadoes today. But we're hoping that the worst is over, but we're not out of the woods yet, you guys. We're still watching several storms as we speak tonight. So let me just read because something came over. Okay, just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. From Birmingham, who's really been busy. Birmingham National Weather Service has just been incredibly phenomenal tonight, keeping us updated. So anyway, that'll do it for now. On behalf of Matt Hyland, who is punching the buttons in the back, and myself, Chief Meteorologist Leslie Hudson, and Mike Linden, who was in earlier today, and Damien, our whole crew, thank you everybody for sticking with us and watching our coverage. Get some rest, stay safe, and we'll have more throughout the day tomorrow.